Alright, welcome back to Into Everything. In this video, we're going to be taking apart a mini LED projector and then salvaging all the parts at the very end for future projects. So anyway, on my turntable here, I'm going to try and point out all the bits and pieces. If I miss anything, it should pop up in the text. So we've got the focus ring, the main controls on the top, we've got the power socket on the side, and of course some air vents for getting rid of that hot air. We've got your USB and HDMI ports there for putting your video in, and of course all of your screw points on the bottom. There's no other screw point on the external of the case, only on the bottom here, and I actually missed one out because I didn't realize that there's actually a security sticker on it, but we'll see that shortly. So just speeding through here at 8 times just to help with the magic of editing. To get through this, but anyway, you can see I'm going to pull all these screws out, and I'm actually saving all of these screws for future projects as well. So I'm trying to crack the case open, thinking I've got them all out, and of course, not quite. At this point, I didn't realize there's actually a security cover. This is the sort of thing that anyone, Joe Blogs can come across. So if you're doing something, just double check and assess what's going on. So as I try to crack it open here, I can see where it's nice and free, and of course, I can see where it's not. So obviously at that rear left corner, it's clearly stuck down. So it must be a screw. So anyway, time to flip it over and basically inspect it. I give it a bit of a tug down, and I thought, no, there's no point in just snapping it off. Although I am going to salvage it, let's try and take it apart as nicely as possible. So anyway, yeah, there's a hidden screw right underneath there, and I have to check with my finger because I get the textile feel of it. But yeah, it's right there, and I'm actually just going to pop it down, unscrew it, and pull that little screw out. Once this is done, it actually comes apart nice and easy. There we go, it just pops off. There's just one ribbon cable attached, and that's for the controls at the top. I pull all of this apart, and I actually keep all of the screws. A lot of that footage I actually cut out because, well, that's a bit lame. But anyway, there we go. That's how the controls at the top for all the menu when you're actually using the projector are. And as you can see, we just spin this around. You can see there's the focus ring at the front, and we've got a protective cover. And as we zoom in, you can actually see the main circuit board to the right. So that's actually like the PCB and the input circuit board to the right. You can probably see the big silver square. That's the SD slot. But the interesting part is actually uncovered now, and it's at the rear left. You can see a huge mirror sort of on a 45-degree angle. That's the horizontal alignment ring. So as you move the picture up and down, depending on how your wall is, it will basically align that flat to the wall. And that's what that little mirror does there. So as you move that backwards and forwards, it's going to basically flatten it nicely. And that there is a mirror. It's just basically going to redirect where the light comes from. This enables it to be very compact. So I'm going to save this this little mirror, but I now know why my image got all spotty, and that's because, well, look, there's fluff and dust all over this thing. So if you experience it, it might not be a burnt out LED, but it could be that. So anyway, let's go ahead and take out this this circuit board. This one basically just has all the inputs, as I said before, the big silver square there. That's for the SD card, and I've been able to put up to 512 gigabyte cards into that, and it seems to work just fine. So just pulling all of these cables out, I'll be able to flip it over and just show you a little bit better. I'll just zoom out there. So you can see the HDMI. That's the main port I usually use. And what I used to do was use one of those streaming services and watch all UK TV here in Singapore. So I'm just going to zoom in for you and point out the components. So what have we got here? The USB imports, the HDMI, and of course there are the capacitors. That's the main chip. I'm not sure whether it's a CPU or an ASIC. You've usually heard of ASICs being used in Bitcoin miners. So I'm just moving on here. I'm just going to move some of these cables out of the way and then try and pull out this little ND filter. Now, many things use ND filters from phones, professional cameras. Your mobile phone has an ND filter in its camera, behind its camera lens. And if you remove that, you can actually see, to a degree, infrared. Also, a lot of old consoles like Game Boys and Game Gears have these things, and they usually burn out, and you can cheaply replace those. So I could have replaced this one, but I want to buy a new projector which is more powerful, because this one only worked at night, unfortunately. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of this rear back cover, and this is hiding the cooling system which is attached to the LED itself, so it produces quite a lot of heat considering the size of the LED, which you'll soon see. So that's the heatsink fins. We've got the copper pipe and of course the aluminium part at the back. But right here, this is like a funnel, and you'll see how, so the yellow there, that's the LED, and you've got a Fresnel lens right there focusing, and the Fresnel lens measures at about 4 inches. The main point for the LED is about 1/2 inch, and the side is about 1/4 inch. So as you can see from the ruler there, yeah, so that's 1/4 inch. Okay, so just putting that down and moving that away. What that does, it just reflects and amplifies all of the light. It uses as much as possible from the LED to give the highest quality image when it's actually projected. So you can actually see the LED there and the aluminium heatsink with the copper piping, and they're like fused together. So they transmit the heat from the back of the LED all the way along the copper pipes and into the spread it out basically into the fins at the end, and then of course the fan blows that heat straight out the back, and that's essentially how cooling systems work. This is essentially the same thing, the same sort of setup but miniature that say a high-powered desktop PC would use. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is just pop this back here just for a little bit, and just move on to a few more components, and just try and focus on that now. So taking a look at the front Fresnel lens, so the one which does the horizontal focusing and aligns your image flat to your wall, or if you're using one of those pull down sort of projector screens, that's what helps you to do that. And just popping out the main lens here in the front. Now I'm going to find this very useful in the future for it's basically a magnifying glass, and it focuses between the distance of how close the projector is placed according to the wall or the surface you're projecting onto. But you can see here I'm basically showing that it's doing the focusing as any magnifying glass would. And I'm going to use this in the future for reading small text, because I get a lot of items and the text is usually very small, so I'm just going to use that to help speed read. So essentially, just going through all of this, all of these components will be used for future projects. The heating system, I'm actually going to use that for a wrist-based cooling system. But anyway, we'll see that in the future. Remember to like and subscribe. I've really enjoyed making this one. I hope you have. Please put in the comments section what you'd like to see next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.